Mr. Boyele, who joins us, also a legal practitioner, to give his perspective on the developments in the National Assembly, perhaps anchoring with the House of Reps. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Pleasure is always mine. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Lady painted a picture for us all, pointing out that, look, we just need to do something, or else, who knows, we may just find ourselves where we didn't think we were going to find ourselves. But from your reading, what do you think?
Well, to be frank with you, I don't see anything that is happening that is abnormal. In politics, you know, you expect struggle for power, and you expect gravitational pull in sometimes opposite directions. Don't forget that the APC itself is a party made up of strange bedfellows. Even when you are ideologically in accord, you will still find tendencies within the party. And you know, this is the beginning of the Buhari administration.
Okay, let me pop this in there. So if you say that you don't see anything abnormal,
yes,
in politics, that gravitational pull will come forth because congregation of strange bedfellows.
Right.
What about in the context of how Nigerians, those who voted this government in, wouldn't it be abnormal for them to see that, look, this is not what they bargained for, really?
Well, I think that it was, in my humble view, possibly a tactical error for the president to say that, or perhaps a strategic error for the president to say that he will work with anyone and he will rather let the National Assembly choose its leadership.
You say it's a tactical error?
Well, I say that because, and I hope he doesn't live to regret it, because it's very important for him, especially for his administration, to ensure that he begins on a note where there's some form of, if you like, you know, well-synchronized efforts and energy to achieve the objectives.
Are you trying to say that he should have been interested in who becomes?
I think so.
That would be interference.
Well, not necessarily so. You see, all over the world, wherever party politics or multi-party democracy is practiced, the party obviously has a huge say in who becomes what.
The party?
The party.
What about the president?
Well, the president also, obviously, he's an influential member of the party. And therefore, you expect him to look wherever there are gravitational pulls like this, or a tendency where each force tends to cancel themselves out. The president obviously plays a decisive role.
Where then is the role, or where then is the place of the independence of each arm of government?
Well, you see, Neota, this independence is not abstract. It has to be within context.
Let's use the context of the laws of the land.
Yes.
Because there are laws that say how each of these arms is supposed to operate, how they're supposed to interrelate.
Right.
Now, if you say the president ought to have been, in quote,
yes,
involved.
Yes,
in
interested.
That's why I use the word in quote.
Right, yes.
In who becomes the leader of the National Assembly.
Yes.
How would that affect the independence of the legislature?
Well, you see, and that's why I say you can't talk of independence in abstract terms. For example, you can talk about the independence of the judiciary, but the judiciary itself cannot be independent to the extent that the jeopardy of the sovereignty of Nigeria,
but they don't get interested.
It's jeopardized.
But their interest,
yes,
is not the type you're describing for the president against the leadership of the National Assembly.
You see, when we talk of independence, and when I say we should put it in context, I'm not saying that the president should dictate or they should take orders from the villa.
Give us specifics. If I were the president and you want me to be interested in who becomes, what should I do?
You see, whether he likes it or not, whether he plays the ostrich or not, he's one of the most influential members of the ruling party. I'm not saying that his word is law, but obviously people will be, how should I put it now, will be prepared to listen to his opinion. His opinion cannot be dismissed with a wave of the hand.
So you think that did his party in? Would you say that that position of his did his party in?
I think that I think that in the euphoria of getting into office, with all respect to the presidency and the president himself, I don't think sufficient thought was put into that aspect.
Because some people would say that, you know, if you look back to what happened in the 7th Assembly, the president showed interest in it, and the PDP did show interest in who emerges.
Yes.
It did not work out that way.
Yes.
And then, you know, oftentimes too, some people will say the president is supposed to act like father.
Yes.
I mean, there are many people who are interested in this.
Yes.
And, you know, as such, all that should happen is that they should all have a level playing ground and be able to see who will eventually emerge as leader. Isn't that what you ought to have done?
Well, it is the ideal.
Yeah.
But you can hardly have an ideal situation in any human institution or where human beings are interacting, especially when there are forces contending for command, for control, for influence, and so forth. You know, and I think that the result of insufficient thought being put into the outcome of what is likely to happen is what we're getting.